Hi there, guys. Well, have you been hearing this term, the fourth industrial revolution? Everybody's banding it about out there in business. And yes, it's all about the artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, robotics, the blockchain technology that's terrifying a lot of people out there. And yeah, well, there's so much volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity in the environment because of this. And they actually use this term VUCA to describe those four concepts. It first originated in the 90s when the American military decided they didn't know who their next enemy was after the fall of communism, and we're dealing with the fog of war, so they came up with the acronym VUCA. And yeah, I guess we're in that space. It doesn't, some of the leaders in the world don't help the volatility and the uncertainty in terms of their approach, but nevertheless. So Dyer and I were going, well, this impact, this VUCA environment and its impact on the business, what do we need to do to maybe change or fine-tune our course Beyond Thinking a bit to help with that? So I started getting involved in a bit of research around it. And they've actually come up with all these fancy names to describe the competencies that are required of the new generation leader, the new gen leader. And they've even called it the Paragon 7. It's a whole list of competencies. But at the top of the competency is what they call, it's part of cognitive readiness. It's metacognition. So I looked up what do they mean by metacognition, and there they translated from Latin into English, and they said it's beyond thinking. So I thought, wow, we're being advertised in all these articles. So the whole thing was about what is required for VUCA is metacognition, which is folks who've been in with me and Beyond Thinking. It is about changing the chemistry within, working with our emotions, being aware of how we have to take charge, especially when the environment, we cannot really rely on the environment any longer. And there's those wonderful tools, folks, you'll recall from Beyond Thinking, about how we settle the mind and we go beyond thinking. So this was one of the first aspects, and I can understand why. It really is important. The other aspect they brought in, and it was all around EQ. We've spoken a lot about EQ. I don't want to go back into that again, but one of the key aspects within EQ was about bringing empathy back into business, or bringing it into business. Now, for 10 years, that's what my passion has been about, bringing the soul into business. It's always been about empathy, and I kind of find it slightly amusing in a way that now it's becoming this urgency. We need to bring empathy into business, and I've always felt it's like bringing the Bible into the brothel when we talk about empathy in business. And it's kind of treated as something new that we must do. Yet what is really empathy about? It's about treating people as fellow human beings and seeing ourselves in them and them in ourselves. And I feel, man, why do we need an excuse to bring this in? It's something I'm very passionate about. And the first thing that comes to mind also is its logical sense. I mean, I've got a CA degree behind me and I've understood business. It's logical for me. If your people are happy, the people in the business are happy, they're going to be happy in front of your customers. And if your customers are happy, you're going to make profit. So it's people, customers, people are both customers and the people within the business, and then profit. But now I saw there was an article in the Washington Post where a whole bunch of CEO folk got together recently, and they said, no, the traditional model profits, and then it's the people, the customers, and then the people in the business. We've got to change that. Now it's about the people first. And I'm going, wow, they've finally discovered this. So it is, and I think more importantly in the fourth industrial revolution, it is so important, even more so, that we actually bring the human element into it. We're looking at taking Beyond Thinking online. So I've been looking at a lot of learning management system suppliers out there, and there's quite a few. So you send off an email and you get your automatic response, and you don't know if you're dealing with artificial intelligence or not. I had that with Microsoft when I was querying a billing inquiry, and for a while I thought, well, I'm busy chatting to a human on the other side because I was typing, and then I said, so you're human? And I said, would you like to speak to one, basically? So I was like, I've been talking to artificial intelligence. So it is so important that we bring more of our empathy and our personal, bringing our personal connectedness into business, not only with each other within the business, but with the customers, especially when there's so much AI out there. So it really is important, folks. So I feel maybe in this moment it's about checking in with your fellow work colleagues if you're at the workplace, And yeah, throw a little bit of appreciation about, bring in a little bit of love, as I always say to my Beyond Thinkers. Nothing wrong with bringing love. You don't have to hug anybody, but just a bit of random acts of kindness, respect and care are high forms of love. Bring them into the workplace. And yeah, if you're dealing with customers, nothing wrong with sharing that with them as well. They probably need it just as much as you do. So until we chat again, folks, take care and stay aware.